Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Human Interaction Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton. And I wasn't quite sure what to do with this social isolation going on, social distancing. Essentially, everyone's quarantining themselves, and we're not supposed to interact with each other. So that kind of defeats the entire purpose of this podcast. So what are you going to do? I didn't want to miss an episode. I didn't want to do a solo episode because I hate doing those. I'm hating doing this again. And just in the sense of transparency that I try to put out with this podcast, this is the second time I'm recording this part of the episode because for some reason I didn't record the first half hour of what I was talking about the first time I did this. You weren't going to know that, but I always feel like I got to own up to my mistakes, and you should all know that I'm not perfect. I know some of you were thinking that I am, and I'm not. That's, So anyway, this is why I didn't want to do a solo episode. So, we're all fucking staying indoors right now and not really interacting with each other. So I had to get creative with this one. And I decided to build a bit of a blanket fort because I was sick of how echoey my kitchen is and my living room. There's a lot of hard surfaces all around. So I fucking channeled my inner child and built a blanket fort today to record in. And a part of that was probably inspired by the idea that I had for this podcast. Took a little while to come up with it because I've been playing a lot of video games during this whole quarantine. I've been unemployed for almost a month and a half now, and a lot of video games. And then they told us to stay inside, so even more video games. I don't think you really care, but I'm fucking crushing it in The Sims right now. I'm a fucking astronaut. I got a hot girlfriend. Cool fucking bachelor pad that I built. It's a lot better than real life. In real life, I'm just unemployed, and I don't know when anyone's going to be hiring again. Anyway. Surprisingly, not masturbating that much during the isolation. So I don't know what that. I think that means that you all stress me the fuck out, and I need to jerk off constantly to find some sense of peace and balance. But I've been spending a lot of time. I was spending a lot of time alone beforehand. Anyway, my life is really not that much different on quarantine or whatever the fuck you want to call it. A little nervous at times, a little anxious at times. Like, is it the end of the world? Who knows? Sometimes it looks like it. Sometimes I think we're overreacting. But either way, this is just turning into a fucking podcast anyway, solo podcast anyway. No, it's not. I'm gonna get through the first part of what I missed. I'm gonna redo the part that I fucking didn't record somehow last time. Right now. So the idea that I had for this podcast, this episode, and probably a few going forward, as long as we're all fucking not hanging out with each other. I don't know. Maybe this is what the Patreon will be, but in going with the theme of building a blanket fort for myself to record my radio show like I used to on fucking cassette tapes with a boombox. I also found a book that I acquired at some point, I think on a family vacation, the summer between 3rd and 4th grade, which would be 1995. My dad loaded me, my brother, and my mom into the 1988 Plymouth Grand Voyager that was the color of pure shit. Literally, it was poop brown. It was a poop brown fucking Plymouth Grand Voyager. And we hopped in that baby and drove all the way out to Seattle. I saw the Seattle Mariners play in the Kingdom when they had, it was 95. They were a good fucking team then. They had Griffey. I got to see Griffey play a game. They had the big unit, Mr. Randy Johnson. He wasn't pitching that game. I actually think Jamie Moyer might have been pitching that game. They had Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, Dan Wilson. Yeah. How about that name? It was a fucking cool experience to see them play. It was like retro night too. It was like 70s night or something like that. The Kingdom is a terrible place to see a game. I'm glad they destroyed it. It needed to go. It was easy. It's like the Vet, but in a dome. So picture that. Terrible. What was I fucking talking about? Oh yeah. That's where I got the book. Probably like in Montana or some shit. But it is The Storytelling Stone, Traditional Native American Myths and Tales. Published in 1965. And I remember reading it as a kid, and they were kind of neat stories. So I don't know. Thought it would be a cool idea for a podcast to read them and kind of give some commentary as I'm going through. So just a little summary from the back of the book. Blackfoot, Winnebago, Eskimo, Comanche, Cheyenne, Native American culture comes alive in tribal stories and myths. Creation and death, the wily trickster, wolves, magic, and passion. These motifs are part of a rich heritage of Native American mythology and folk tales. From tribes that varnished. God damn it, I fucked up so many times in the first recording. Like, I don't read out loud anymore, and my brain just kind of likes to jump ahead and make up words that aren't really there. And it's kind of dark in here. I'm doing the best I can with a flashlight, like I'm a fucking child again. So forgive me for any shit like that. Forgive me for any shit like that where I fuck up speaking, because I do that sometimes. Anyway. From tribes that vanished long ago, as well as from great tribes like the Ojibwa and Zuni that proudly remain, here are the powerful ancient beliefs with which North American tribal societies bring order to the universe and understanding to the heart. Sounds pretty cool. So yeah, the book is broken down into 3 chapters. Chapter, I guess you want to call it that. Yeah, three chapters, 3 parts. With all similar stories. So it's there's an introduction which I read a little bit of, and it's not worth reading to you. So I'm just going to start with the first one and read the first 3 stories in this book. But it's broken down into chapter 1, which is in the days of creation, chapter 2, which is trickster, and chapter 3, tales of heroes, supernatural journeys, and other folk tales. So, yeah, I'm going to read the first 3 fucking stories to you from the days of creation. They're all from the Zuni tribe. And, actually, right now, you don't need to know this, but right now I only have to read the first one in this recording because my legs got tired. and I had to switch positions, so I had to take a little break. And then for some reason when I came back, that's when it started recording. So, let's just fucking get right into it, man. This is the Storytelling Stone, Traditional Native American Myths and Tales, edited and with an introduction by Susan Feldman. as read by Andrew Hambone Hamilton. That's why he stutters and fucks up a lot. So, the first story, the first creation story, in the days of creation. Chapter 1, Story 1, The Emergence from the Zuni tribe of Southwest North America. So, like, Arizona area. Yeah. They were living in the fourth world. It was dark. They could not see one another. They stepped upon one another. They urinated upon one another. They spat... They spat upon one another, and they threw refuse upon one another. They could not breathe. They lived there for 4 days, or years. Years is in brackets there. So days are years, maybe? Anyway, they lived there for 4 days, maybe 4 years. The sun took pity upon them. He saw that the world was covered with hills and springs, but there were no people to give him prayer sticks. He thought, my people... Fuck. My people. My people shall come to the daylight world. The earth was covered with mist. He threw his rays into the mist, and there in the world his sons stood up. Their hair was tangled. They had long noses, long cheeks. Next day they played together. The third day, the younger brother said to the elder, let us go and look for beautiful places. I will go to Corn Mountain, and you shall go to the south, where the cotton hangs. And there's a footnote here. These are both shrines, apparently. Corn Mountain and where the cotton hangs are both shrines. So, the third day they went. The younger looked over the world, and he saw that nobody lived there. He said to himself, tomorrow we shall be old enough to work. When the next day came, he called for his brother. Elder brother came and said, what is it that you have to say that you have called me? Younger brother said, we are 4 days old, and we are old enough to work. This is a good world, and nobody lives in it. Let us go to the southwest. There below, the people are living in the fourth world. They are our fathers and mothers, our sons and daughters. There is no light there, no room to move about. They cannot see one another. They step on one another. They urinate upon one another. They should come to this world, where they can see our father's son. Elder brother answered, it is as you say. We will go and try. The two went to the southwest, and they came to the entrance to the fourth world. They went in and came to the first world. There was just a little light there. They came to the second world. It was dark. They came to the third world. It was darker still. They came to the fourth world. It was black. The people could not see each other. They felt one another with their hands and recognized their faces. They said, some stranger has come. Where is it that you have come from? It is our fathers, the bow priests. They ran to feel them, and they said, our fathers, you have come. Teach us how to get out of this place. We have heard of our father's son, and we wish to see him. The two answered, we have come to bring you to the other world where you can see him. Will you come with us? The people answered, yes, we wish to go. In this world we cannot see one another. We step upon one another. We urinate upon one another. We spit upon one another. We throw refuse upon one another. We get it, dude. Fuck. Like, you're nasty. You're covered in spit and piss. You know, you can't see. Get over it. Anyway, it is nasty here. No shit. We wish to see our father's son. We have been waiting for someone to show us the way, but our brothers must come too. As the priest of the north says, so let it be. The two, quote-unquote, needed the priest of the north. He came and said, I have come. What is it you wish to ask? We want you to come into the daylight world. Yes, we shall be glad to come. We want to see our father's son, but my brothers must come too. As the priest of the east says, so let it be. And then it says, repeat for east, south, and west. So basically these brothers went and talked to the priest from the east, south, and west, and we're like, yo, come to the daylight world. It's a lot. You're not going to be covered in piss and spit. You know, It's a lot better. You can see, you can breathe. It's a nice place. You can see our father's sun, get that vitamin D. Anyway, they said to them, "Do you know how we can get to the daylight world?" Younger brother went to the north. He took the seeds of the pine tree and planted them. He turned about, and when he looked where he had planted, the pine had already grown. He turned again, and when he looked at the tree, the branches were grown to full size. He tore off a branch and brought it back to his people. He went to the west and planted the seeds of the spruce. He turned about, and when he looked where he had planted, the spruce had already grown. He turned again, and when he looked at the tree, the branches were grown to full size. He tore off a branch and brought it back to the people. He went to the south. I kind of see where this is going. He went to the south and planted the seeds of the silver spruce. He turned about, and when he looked where he had planted the seeds, the silver spruce had already grown. He turned again, and when he looked at the tree, the branches were grown to full size. He tore off a branch and brought it back to the people. He went to the east. I think this is the last one. North, south, east, west? Yeah, okay. He went to the east and planted the seeds of the aspen. He turned about, and when he looked where he planted the seeds, the aspen had already grown. He turned again, and when he looked, the branches had grown to full size. He tore off a branch and brought it back to the people. He said, "That is all." There's a footnote here. It says, from the branches long prayer sticks, telane, were made for the ascent, and prayer stick making instituted. Okay. I shouldn't have had that much trouble reading that word. From the branches, long prayer sticks, telani, were made for the ascent, and prayer stick making instituted. It's still not really that. Not sure what she's trying to get across. So anyway, he went north, south, east, west. He got the pine tree, spruce tree, silver spruce, and the aspen, and he brought those all back to them. And he said, "That is all. We are ready to go up to the upper world. My people, make yourselves ready. Take those things that you live by." So we out, dude. We're heading up. The bow priest took the long prayer stick, elbow length, in brackets, it's an elbow length prayer stick, they had made from the pine of the north. They set it in the earth. The people went up the prayer stick and came into the third world. There was rumbling like thunder. It was lighter in that world, and the people were blinded. The bow priest said, "Have we all come out?" They answered, "Yes. Is it here that we are going to live?" The bow priest answered, "Not yet. This is not the upper world. They live there for 4 days, or years." The Zuni don't really know if the difference between days or years, apparently. Because every time it says 4 years, or 4 days, in brackets it says years. So it could be 4 days, it could be 4 years. Just keep that in mind. Not a big difference, you know. The bow priests took the crook of the west that they had made from the spruce. They set it in the earth. There was rumbling like thunder, and the people came up into the second world. It was twilight there, and the people were blinded. The bow priest said, "Have we all come out?" "Yes. Is this where we shall live?" "Not yet." They remained there 4 days, or years. And the two took the long prayer stick that they had made from the silver spruce of the south and set it in the earth. There was rumbling like thunder, and the people came up to the first world. It was light, like red dawn. They were dazzled, and they said, "Is this where we shall live?" They answered, "Not yet." The people were sad. They could see each other quite plain. Their bodies were covered with dirt and with ashes. They were stained with spit and urine, and they had green slime on their heads. Where are they coming from? Fucking world are they living in? Their hands and feet were webbed, and they had tails and no mouths or exits. No mouths or buttholes. They remained there for 4 days, or 4 years. The bow priests took the long prayer stick that they had made from the aspen of the east, and they set it in the earth. There was rumbling like thunder, and the people came up into the daylight world. The 2 bow priests came first, and after them, those who carried the medicine bundles, the haetone, kaetone, tukuetone, muetone, and leetone. Those are Zuni words, apparently, and I hope I pronounced them correctly. When they came into the sunlight, the tears ran down their cheeks. Younger brother said to them, "Turn to the sun and look full at our father's fucking cocksucker. Turn to the sun and look full at our father's sun, no matter how bright it is." They cried out, for it hurt them, and their tears ran to the ground. Everywhere they were standing, the sunflowers, and buttercups, sprang up from the tears caused by the sun. The people said, "Is this the world where we shall live?" "Yes, this is the last world. Here you see our father's son." They remained there for 4 days, or years, and they went on. They came to the slime spring. They lived there 4 days, or years, and the Bo priest said, "Is it time for... The Bo priest said, "It is time our people learn to eat." They took the corn of the witch, and they put it in the fields to its sumawe, which means increased by magic. Putting clay sheep on an altar and planting big clay peaches are acts of itsumawe. Planting a garden falls in the same category. So basically, the Zuni think that just plants growing is magic. It's they don't, which I guess is a good point. We don't really know. We know, but how it works, but we don't know why, or why it came to be. It's fucking magic. So anyway, when the corn had grown, they harvested it, and the men took it home to their wives. They smelled it, but they had no way to eat. The Bo priests were sad, and younger brother said, "Elder brother, the people have made it sumawe, and I am sorry for them that they cannot eat. Let us cut them so that they may enjoy food." Weird. Okay. Elder brother agreed, and his brother said, "When everyone is asleep, we shall go to each house and cut mouths in their faces." Now, why do they have to wait until everyone's asleep? Kind of weird. Why don't they just do it? Why don't they just cut holes in their faces so they can eat food? I'm sure no one's going to disagree. Sure, it doesn't need to be some covert operation, sneaking into people's houses like fucking creeps, cutting their fucking faces open so they can eat corn. Anyway, that night after the people were asleep, the Bo priests took their, in brackets, ceremonial stone knives and sharpened them with a red whetstone. I like that word. They went to each house. They cut each face where the skin of the mouth was puffed up. The knife made the lips red from the red of the whetstone. Whetstone. They went home. When the sun rose, the people found that they had mouths. They said, "What makes our faces so flat?" Weird question to ask, but okay. They began to get hungry, and the men brought in corn and water, and they ate. That night they were uncomfortable because they had no exits. They could not defecate. They got there before I could. And say they can't shit, they got no buttholes. But they could not defecate as much more politically correct and less disgusting. Anyway, they couldn't shit because they had no buttholes. Younger brother thought, "We should cut the anus." Yeah, get on that, dude. Cut those buttholes. We should cut the anus so that they can defecate. He went to his brother and said, "These people should have the anus." I agree. Let us cut it tonight when they are asleep. Again, though, now you're cutting buttholes. Mouths was one thing, but cutting buttholes when people are sleeping, it's getting into some fucking pervert Chris Hansen territory there, guys. Anyway, they're going to go cut the buttholes because elder brother agreed, and they took the smaller stone knives and sharpened them on a soot whetstone. They cut the anus for all the people, and the soot colored these parts black. I don't know if my butthole's black. Maybe Zuni people have black buttholes, but I don't think my butthole's black. I think it's actually the same color as my lips. Anyway, not that I look at my own butthole that frequently. It's kind of hard, tough angle. Anyway, the next morning the people were uncomfortable and they went outside. They thought they had been broken. They thought they had broken open in their sleep because they had so much shit piled up, I guess. Oh no, we sprung a leak. They tried to break up the corn so that they could eat it better. They took whetstones into their webbed hands and rubbed the corn on the hearthstone. They mixed the porridge and made corn cakes, fucking Kellogg's over there. There's a footnote after the last on the hearthstone. The wide grinding stones found in the ruins are said by the people to prove that their ancestors once had webbed hands. I don't know how wide grinding stones prove webbed hands, but okay. If that's what the Sunnis are going with, fine. They mixed porridge and made corn cakes. After they had made it, it was hard to clean. It was hard to clean their hands, for they were webbed. And the younger brother said to the elder brother, I am sorry for my people, that their hands are webbed. Let us cut their fingers apart. Elder brother agreed, and that night they took the larger stone knife and cut the webbed hands and feet of the people. In the morning the people were frightened, but when the sun had risen, they did not notice any more. They worked better with fingers and toes. The next day younger brother said to the older, Our people have been cut. They still have tails and horns. Let us cut them away. Elder brother agreed, and they took the smaller stone knife. They went to each house and cut the tails and horns from their people. In the morning the people were frightened, but when the sun rose they did not mind any more. They were glad that they were finished. And that's the end. That's the end. That's the emergence. That's why we look like people, and we don't have tails and horns, and we have buttholes, and we have mouths, and we're not covered in urine and spit and green slime. There's a footnote here at about the webbed hands and feet, where it says there's no blood for the tissues. There's no blood for the Okay, I guess the fucking grammar in this book is terrible. Even in the footnotes, it's literally just like, well, I guess that's what footnotes are. They're just notes, but it's not like. So anyway, there was no blood, comma. There should be a comma there. For the tissue was like cartilage. They had not been eating long enough to have blood running through it. So, that's the argument for why their people didn't bleed when they cut the webbing in their hands and feet. It's because they hadn't been eating long enough to have blood flowing through the skin there. So yeah, that's the emergence. Chapter 1. First story from the Sunnis. A little weird, fucking sneaking into people's houses and cutting their buttholes and mouths open so they can eat and shit properly. I mean, good on them. We kind of need that as human beings, but still, why do you have to do it when they're sleeping? Why? That's the weird part. Why do they have to be asleep when you did it? That seems like a weird fetish. Let's go to the next story here. This is The Flood is what this one's called. And it seems pretty short. So we'll get through this one and another one, and we'll call it a day. All three of these are actually from the Zuni tribe. So, yeah. The first three in this book are all from the Zuni tribe. So the Zunis must be something special to this lady to put them first. So, story number 2, in the days of creation, the flood. I think we've all heard a variation of this one. So, here we go. The people were living at Itawana. The Corn clan was the largest of all the clans. The young people of Corn clan were handsome, and they played with each other and lay together. Only one man could not overlook their wrongdoing, and he was a priest's son and a member of Corn clan. Corn clan. Sounds like racist nu metal fans. Anyway. He thought to himself, I will call my uncle, who was killed by the Navajo, and I will ask him for help. He made 4 prayer sticks and took them to Hawiku. Damn, this is gonna get difficult if they keep throwing these native words in here. Anyway, he's off to Hawiku with his 4 prayer sticks. He sat down and dug a hole and sprinkled prayer meal in it. He held his prayer sticks in his hand and prayed. Help me, my uncle. You who were killed in the Navajo fight, come to me. My clan does wrong, and I am calling on you for help. He put down the prayer sticks and covered them. Presently, he heard his uncle coming. He heard the moaning and rattling of a dead man in the distance. He was not frightened because it was his uncle. You know, he called him. He saw his body rolling toward him. I just pictured just this fucking dead body rolling, rolling along the ground. Anyway, he saw his body rolling toward him. They went together toward Itiwana. It was dark, and they had reached Pinawa. The uncle... It was dark, and when they had reached Pinawa, the uncle brushed against the boy, and he became a dead man. He was sorry at this, for he had an old grandmother, and he lived with her, and with his sister, who had a little boy and a little girl. So he touched his dead uncle, and now he's dead, and he's leaving behind his whole family. The dead man came down close to Itiwana. In all the kivas, which is like a house, it's a Pueblo Indian structure, usually round, used as ceremonial council, work, and lodging room for men. So, it's a boys' club, is the kivas. So, in all the kivas, the Corn Clan was carrying on its shameful practices. The apparition went from kiva to kiva. People were terrified, and they cried out, for they were afraid of the earthquake. What fucking earthquake? Especially those who had been taking their pleasure in the kivas started to run. Dude, the fucking grammar in this book is terrible. Especially those who had been taking their pleasure in the kivas started to run toward Corn Mountain to save themselves. Everybody in the village began to run for refuge there. At Corn Mountain, I assume. All the others had left the village when at last the sister of the priest's son, the original guy who called his dead uncle and is now dead, so her and her little children heard of what had happened. They went to their old grandmother and told her that they were going to Corn Mountain to take refuge from the earthquake. The grandmother climbed the ladder, and they all set out as fast as they could toward Corn Mountain. The boy carried his sister on his back. When they came to Matsaka, they felt the earth rumble, and the boy who was now the apparition turned into Kalawisi. They said to their grandmother, "Stay here, grandmother, and we will go on to Corn Mountain. It is too dangerous to wait for you." The grandmother said, "It is well. I have only a little while to live. Let the young ones go on quickly. I must die one of these days. Noble, Grandma, noble." They went on to Corn Mountain without her, and Kolowisi kept back the floods until they had reached the mountain. Then he let loose the waters, and they filled all the valley. One of the priests said to the people, "This flood has come upon us because of the shameful practices of the Corn Clan. You were always taking your pleasure in the kivas. For this reason the apparition came to us and to all the kivas, and he has caused this flood. You who are of one clan should be as brothers and sisters, and never desire one another." All the people repeated what he had said, and they stopped those practices. They agreed that no one must have sexual relations within his own clan, but always with those of others. That is why we have learned not to have intercourse with those of our own clan, even if they do not live with us. And if one of them has a baby or dies in the farthest corner of the pueblo, we go there and help. And if they are providing a feast, we grind for them. I think that's like twerking. If they're having a party, we all go twerk. But let's see what the footnote says. Children are told that there will be an earthquake if members of one clan mate with one another. Also, if children begin sexual practices before they are of age. Okay, so it's basically like, look, go find someone, get a girlfriend at a different school. Okay, don't shit where you eat, and don't dip the pen in company ink. You know, all those different sayings. And wait till you're of age, or else we're all gonna die in a fucking earthquake. And that's the end of the story. That's it. That's where that one ends. Where are we at here? That was only 36 minutes. That one only took 6 minutes. Okay. So, we'll go on to the third and final story. This one's a little longer. It's called The Monster Slayers, again from the Zuni tribe. Long ago, the people were living in Itiwana. Cloud swallowers stood in the east. He swallowed each cloud as it came up, and there was a great drought. He was like a giant elk. His neck was 1/2 mile long. The Aiheuyute lived there with their grandmother on Corn Mountain. One morning she said to them, "In the east there is a monster who eats the clouds. Therefore there is no rain. You must not go there. He is dangerous." All right. That's what they said to Grandma. They were just like, all right, cool. Next day, the Ahayute, Ahayute, there we go, went to the east. They just said all right, and then the next day they go. The fucking kids, god damn it. They heard someone speaking to them. It was Gopher coming out of his hole. Gopher said, "Wait a little." They stood still. "Where are you going?" "Oh, we are going to kill Cloud Swallower." "Come into this hole," said the Gopher. The Ahayute went in. Gopher dug a hole deep down into the ground for those two boys. Gopher said, "Over there, Cloud Swallower is asleep. I will make a way for you." He tunneled till his hole was directly over Cloud Swallower's heart. He began to gnaw his hair. Cloud Swallower started up. "No, wait, grandfather. I want your hair for my nest." Gopher shaved a circle over his heart and went back. So he's tricking him. He's tricking him to help. And I'm pretty sure Cloud Swallower is just a big old mountain. I think that's what Cloud Swallower is. So they're going to kill a mountain. So at this point, Gopher has tricked Cloud Swallower into believing that he just wants some hair for his nest, but he's really clearing the way for them to like stab him in the heart or something like that. So let's see where this goes. Gopher shaved a circle over his heart and went back. He said to Ahayute, "I have shaved the hair over his heart. Go through my hole and shoot him quickly where I have shaved. He will fall dead." They went. They drew their bow and shot him. Cloud Swallower started up and put his antlers down. The Ahayute ran back, younger brother ahead and elder brother behind. So these are still the same guys. I guess now they're called the Ahayute. They've been promoted. It's still the two same brothers. So anyway, they just shot a mountain in the heart somehow, and he's pissed. The antlers grazed his back, but just as it touched him, the monster fell dead. His great head is there yet where he died. They came back to Gopher and said to him, "Come and see if he is dead." The Gopher went up and touched him. He called to them, "He is dead." The Ahayute came up. They said, "Now there will be rain. He will not eat the clouds any more." They said, "We will cut open his breast." They took his heart and threw it to the east, and it became the morning star. They took his liver and threw it, and it became the evening star. Ooh, a cat's coming in to say hi. That's gonna get annoying. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Who are you talking to? Why are you in a fucking blanket fort like a child, you 32-year-old fucking child?" Because it's awesome, cat. That's why. Yeah, come in here. Come on. Come say hi. So anyway, they killed the dude. They killed Cloud Swallower. And they took his heart and they threw it to the east, and it became the morning star. They took his liver and threw it, and it became the evening star. So his heart's the sun and his liver's the moon. They took his lungs and threw them, and they became the 7 stars. They took his entrails and threw them, and they became the Milky Way. They went home to Corn Mountain. Next day their grandmother said to them, "Do not go to the south. There are owls there. They are dangerous." All right. Yeah, well, we know where this is going. They're going to the south. Next morning, the Ahayute went to the south. In their house, there were great owls sitting in rows and rows. They never winked. They sat staring straight ahead. Back in the corner, there was one girl owl and one boy owl. The Aheyute came in. The owls said, "Sit down by the fire." Younger brother had brought salt from the salt lake in his hand. When he sat down, he threw it into the fire. The owls were staring with their eyes fixed and open. When the salt began to pop, it popped into their eyes. It killed them all. The Aheyute cut them up and plucked their feathers. Over in the corner, little girl owl and little boy owl were still alive. They said, "If you kill us, there will be no more owls." The Aheyute said, "If we let you go, do not live as human beings. In houses, you know. Do not kill men. If you do, we will come and kill you. Kill jackrabbits, cottontail rabbits, live in trees and caves." "All right," said the owls, and they flew off. The Aheyute took their big bundle of owl feathers and went home to Corn Mountain. Next morning, their grandmother said to them, "In the southwest there lives an old giant who has a horn in the middle of his forehead. He always kills people. You must not go to Noponiqui. There we go." And they said, "All right, we're not going to go to that hard place to say." But you know how this is going. The next morning, they wake up, and the Aheyute went to the southwest. They took the trail along the cliff of Noponiqui. The giant's children lived in a cave at the foot of the cliff. They were all girls. Nice. When people went by on the trail, Hakisuto, forehead horn, is what that translates to, raised his legs and kicked. He knocked them over the cliff, and his children ate them. The Aheyute got there. The Aheyute got there. Period. They greeted him and said, "We are passing by." "All right," he said, "you can go past without any danger." They started. Just as they were opposite, he said, "Ouch, I have a cramp in my leg." Ooh, what a fucking trickster. His leg kicked. Younger brother said, "I suppose you want to push me off." No, I have a cramp. Totally, I have a cramp. That's what he's... It just hurts. They started again. Just as they got there, the giant said, "Ouch, I have a cramp in my leg." He kicked, but they jumped back. Again they started, and the giant said, "Ouch, I have a cramp in my leg." He kicked, they jumped back. The fourth time, the younger brother said to elder brother, "Next time he does that, I will catch him and throw him over." They came up. The giant said, "Ouch, I have a cramp in my leg." Younger brother got him by the leg and threw him over the cliff. He dropped down where his children lived. They ran up and began to eat. They ate his foot and his thighs and his bodies and his arms. They came to his head, and they saw the horn on his forehead. And they cried, "Our father! We have eaten our father!" The Aheyute came down and killed the children. Damn. They went home to Corn Mountain. Fuck it, they're just going around fucking shit up. Slaying monsters, I guess. It is called the Monster Slayers. The next morning, their grandmother said to them, "Away up in the north, a woman and her granddaughter live. They kill people. Don't go there." To which they say, "All right, but you know where it's going." Next morning, the Aheyute went to the north. They got there. They saw nice girls. Nice. They went in. The girls said, "Which is the elder?" The younger brother said, "This is my eldest brother. What did you want to know?" "I am the younger sister, and this is my elder sister. I shall marry the elder brother, and she will marry the younger brother." They went into the house to sleep. The girls tied on red headbands. The Aheyute said, "Oh, what are you doing that for?" "Oh, we always do that when we get married." All right. So the girls were sound asleep. When the girls were sound asleep, younger brother spoke to them. They did not answer. He knew that they were asleep. He got up and took the girls' headbands off. He took the white headbands from around his own head and his brother's and put them on the girls' heads. He tied the red headbands on his own head and his brother's. The girls' fathers came with a sharp stone knife. He saw the white headbands in the dark. He said, "Those are the husbands." He cut the girls' heads off and threw them outside and put their bodies in the cellar. The Aheyute said, "Yeah, let's go home. Let's get out of here." They went home to Corn Mountain. Next morning, they told their grandmother, "We killed those girls." She said, "Thank you. Those girls have killed a lot of people." Very matter of fact, these stories. Their grandmother said, "Nearby in the west, there are 8 girls living with their grandmother. Don't go there. They have teeth in their vaginas. They will cut you and you will die. All right. They keep saying all right, but then they keep going. In Sukipa, which means big belly, the Lehasi lived. There were 6 young men and they lived with their grandfather. The Ahayute went there. They told the 6 boys to get oak wood and make themselves each a false penis. Then they told them to get hickory wood and each make themselves a second. When they had finished, younger brother went down west where the women lived. He said, "Do you girls want to come and dance tonight, huh?" To which they said, "Yes, how many are there of you?" "Well, there are 8 of us, and our grandfather." "Oh, that is just right. There are 8 of us, and our grandmother." "We shall come tonight." Younger brother went back. He told them, "They want us to dance late tonight." They went down. Their grandfather carried the drum. The girls said, "Come in." They went in and danced and sang their songs. The Lhasa don't know girls. The Lhasa don't know girls. They just sleep here. That's what the lyrics are. Okay. The eldest sister said, which is the smallest boy?" Masewe said, "I am." Elder brother said, "I am." They quarreled. All the boys paired with the girls. The youngest took the youngest. The grandmother said to the girls, These Lhasa are going to die soon." The girls said, "Poor boys. Pretty soon we shall kill them." They lay with the girls. Nice. Nice. The grandmother took the grandfather. All the men took out their false members. They used them cohabitating. They fucked them with wooden penises. That's what they're saying. They broke the teeth from the women's vagina. The blood ran. When the oak members were worn out, they put them aside and took the hickory ones. By daylight, the teeth of these women were all worn out, dude, so they just fucked them all night until they fucking ground those teeth, those vagina teeth down. Nice. They were broken in pieces. The grandfather told the boys, "We shall beat the drum all the way home." Are they saying we're going to jerk off? Because we just, wooden dildoed fucking 8 chicks and their grandma all night long? I think that's what he's saying. Beat the drum all the way home, baby. No one of them was killed. They went back home to Sukipa, and Aheute went back to Corn Mountain. They left the 8 girls and their grandmother sleeping. When they had gone, Coyote came. He had intercourse with each of the girls. Yeah, so this fucking coyote just comes and fucks them while they're sleeping. Damn. He pulled a hair out of his mustache and planted it between the legs of the first girl and breathed on it. He pulled another hair out of his mustache and planted it on the second girl and breathed on it. And he did the same to the third girl and the fourth. When he had given a hair to each of the girls, he went home. The girls woke. They scratched themselves. They said, "What is the matter?" They each had pubic hair. They said, "Why does it smell?" It was Coyote's odor. These women never killed men anymore because they got smelly, hairy pussies. There is a footnote here for Masewi. The little used personal name of younger brother. It is the name always used in Karasan tales. So that younger brother's name is Masewi. Next morning, as they were eating breakfast, their grandmother said, "Don't go near the Twin Buttes, because an old woman lives there who is mean and kills many people." And you know what they said. They said, "All right, we won't go there." But they were fucking lying. They went out, and after they had gone a little way to hunt rabbits, younger brother said to elder brother, "Let us go where that old woman is. Let us see what kind of woman she is." So the 2 Aheute went to Hekoktakwe. There we go. This side of the Twin Buttes. Hekoktakwe. I'm going to practice that one. They went up to the top of the mesa and hid. And after a little while, one of them looked down and saw the old woman. The old woman was working, fixing her dress. Then one of them took up a piece of rock and threw it at the old woman. The little stone dropped down and the woman just turned and looked around. The 2 boys hid, and she did not see anyone. About an hour later, they picked up another stone and threw it at the woman again. So they're just picking on this old lady. What the fuck, dude? No wonder she kills people. The old woman turned and looked up, but the 2 boys had hidden behind the rocks. After a while, one of them looked over the edge, and the woman was working again, fixing her dress. He picked up a stone and hit her again for the third time. The rock dropped down, and the old woman turned and looked up, and the boys had hit again. Then the woman said, "I want to know who hit me." The younger boy said, "Well, next time when we hit that old woman, don't hide." Ballsy, dude. She fucking kills people. The old woman went back to her work, and a little later the boy picked up a stone and threw it down. The stone fell, and the woman turned and looked up, and the two boys were standing there on top of the mesa. The woman said, "Well, my boys, come down. What's the matter? Why did you hit me?" The two Ahayute said, "Let's go down and see her." The two Ahayute went down, and the woman spoke to them. "Well, my grandsons, I am glad to see you. Sit down here." She made the elder sit on her right side and the younger sit on her left side, and she held their heads in her lap and combed their hair. Nice. Thanks, Grandma. She told the two boys, "Now, grandsons, go and get some wood, and we shall make a fire and cook some dinner." The two Ahayute knew that they would die in a little while, and one of them picked up a stick of wood and said, "This wood will cook my body." Then the other picked up a stick and said, "This wood will cook my body." And they joked about it. Ha ha ha. We're gonna die, dude. Oh, it's so hilarious. A little later, the two boys came back, each with an armful of wood, and the old woman made a fire and put lots of stones in the fire to make them hot. She put a big cooking pot on the fire and filled it with water. The two boys piled wood on the fire to make it burn hard, and the stones got red hot, and the water boiled. Then she said to elder brother, "Sit here on my right side, and younger brother, sit here on my left side." She combed their hair again, and after a while she bit the neck of the elder brother, and he died. And then she bit the neck of the younger one and killed him too. Then the old woman said, "You foolish boys, now you are going to die. They're already dead." What the fuck? Then the soul of the elder one came out of his body and went into the water jar, and the soul of the younger one came out and went into the cooking pot. She took the elder and put him into the cooking pot and boiled him. And then she took a red-hot stone from the fire and laid the body of the younger on it, and put another red-hot stone on top of his body. She went out. After a while, the old woman said, "I guess I will get something to eat now. I shall eat the younger one as my first course." She went in and put the boiled meat in a dish, and took the younger one from between the red-hot stones and put him in a basket. She ate some of the meat, and while she was eating, the elder Ahayute, who was in the water jar, said, "Too bad, I made the meat dirty with my excrement." So he shit all over her meat. Nice. Way to get her back, dude. Then the old woman was angry, and she said to the water jar, "Why do you talk like that?" And she took a stone and threw it at the water jar, and it broke to pieces. Then the elder Ahayute came out and went into the mixing bowl. After a while, she sat down to eat the boiled meat. Then the younger one, who was in the cooking pot, said, "Too bad, I urinated in the stew." Then the old woman was angry, and she took a piece of wood and broke the cooking pot, and the younger Ahayute went out of the cooking pot into a small bowl. After a while she ate again, and the elder one said something. She took up a stick and broke the mixing bowl. Then, later, while she was eating, the younger one said the same thing, and the old woman was angry and took a piece of wood and broke the small bowl. The elder brother went into her right nostril, and the younger brother went into her left nostril. The old woman ate some more, and the two boys began to scratch the inside of her nose, and she began to sneeze and cough, and after about an hour she died. After she got the Roni. She got the coronavirus. That's what they gave her, the fucking coronavirus. Damn. After she was dead, the two Ahayute, the boomer remover. After she was dead, the two Ahayute came out of her nose. The old woman lay there dead. Then they took an arrow point and skinned her from her feet up and left the body in the house. They went out and got grass and weeds and brought them back to the house and stuffed them into the old woman's skin. They stuffed it full and sewed up the feet. Then they put her dress on it, and it was just like the old woman. They put a stick in each leg and tied a belt around the waist. They went back into the house and they saw lots of food there, corn and wheat and pumpkins. They went into the second room, and it was full of wheat. They went into the third room, and it was full of melons and pumpkins. They went into the fourth room, and it was full of beans. Shit, I looked away, and I lost my spot. After they passed through the fourth room, they were in the other world. Oh, shit. They went out and saw a trail. They followed it. They walked about 3 miles to the other side of a mountain, and there they saw a village where people were living. After sunset, they came into the village and stood looking at the houses. After a while, people came out of their houses and went into the kivas. After they had been in there a little while, lightning came out of the door, and they heard a sound like thunder. After a couple of hours, the two Ahayute looked into the window of the kiva, and they saw 2 men. One of them had a smooth round stone, which he rolled, and which made a noise like thunder, and the other man had an instrument for making lightning. It was something like a board, and it made lightning. Okay. He's got a board that makes lightning. Something like a board that makes lightning. The 2 Ahayute watched them, and late at night the people put away their things on a shelf in the corner of the kiva. After a while the men who stayed in the kiva went to sleep. Then the 2 Ahayute went into the house quickly, and the younger took the lightning under his arm, and the elder took the thunder. As he took it up, it made a little noise, and all the people woke up. The boys ran away, and all the people ran after them. They went to the east, and the people almost caught them. They found the house where they had killed the old woman and went in. The people could not catch them, but they said, "Never mind, we will get you some day." They went through the house and came out to where the old woman's body was standing. The elder put the old woman's belt around his waist and ran as if the old woman were chasing him. They came over the hill and called to their grandmother. Then younger brother tied the woman to his belt. Elder brother called out, "Oh, someone is chasing my younger brother! Grandmother, someone is chasing my younger brother! He has almost caught him!" The old woman heard them and went into the house and picked up a big stick and a grinding stone in the other hand. She put ashes on one side of her face and soot on the other side, and ran out as fast as she could. She crossed the Zuni River. The 2 boys were coming down the hill. Elder brother was about 10 yards away, and the younger one a little way behind. With the old woman coming after him, their grandmother stood there, and the elder brother came up and said, "Grandmother, someone is trying to catch my brother. You had better hurry." Okay, hold on. That's my timer. That means it's an hour. And stop. Okay, sorry about that. We're almost done with this one. We've only got like one page left. So, they're pretending that the old woman is chasing them with the scarecrow that they made out of her skin. And now the old woman is getting ready to fight. She's got a big stick and a fucking big stone. She got her war paint on. She's ready to go. Their grandmother stood there, and elder brother came up and said, "Grandmother, someone is trying to catch my brother. You had better hurry." The old woman ran as fast as she could. She picked up some pebbles and spat on them and waved them around the head of her grandson. To remove misfortune is apparently why she did that. She took the stick and hit the old woman as hard as she could, and the old woman fell down. Then she took her grinding stone and smashed her head with it, and the 2 Ahayute laughed and laughed at their grandmother. Their old grandmother was angry and wanted to kill the old woman. The elder one said, "Well, grandmother, you had better stop. That old woman is dead. She is not alive." Then their grandmother saw that the old woman had died the day before. The Ahayute just laughed and said, "That old woman was mean, so we killed her. We kill everybody who kills people. And now the people do not need to be afraid anymore, because we have killed all the monsters in this country." Then their grandmother said, "Thank you. Thank you. You have killed all of the mean people. Now there are no more dangerous people here anymore." Yeah, good guy with a gun. What can I say? Then they went home, and their grandmother gave them something to eat. And she ground flour while the two boys played in the house. The elder brother used the lightning sticks and shot lightning from the door. I thought it was a board. It wasn't sticks. It was a board that made fucking lightning. Anyway, something like a board. But so he's shooting lightning. The younger brother is rolling the thunderstone and making a bunch of noise. Soon their grandmother said, "Where did you get those things? You had better throw them away or give them away. You have no right to them. They belong to the Uwanami." "No, they don't. they said, and they began to argue with their grandmother. Soon they said, let's go out. They went out. Clouds were coming up all over, from the east and the north and the west and the south. The clouds were all over. Soon it began to rain. It rained hard. The two boys used their lightning sticks and thunderstone. Soon their grandmother began to cry out. The whole house was flooded. There were about 2 feet of water in the house, and their grandmother cried. So she's crying over a flooded basement. I get it. The younger one said, you had better put grandmother someplace where she will keep quiet. Oh, Dick, you flooded her house. The elder one went into the house and the water came up to his knees. In the corner was a big open cooking pot. He took his grandmother and threw her into the pot. Then he went out and played again. He laughed all the time. Soon the water came high up in the house, and soon the house would be full of water. Then their grandmother cried out again. Soon the water came up to where their grandmother was, and their grandmother was drowned. Soon the water came up over the roof, and their grandmother was washed out. Then the younger one saw her and said, look, our grandmother is dead. The elder one stopped playing with the lightning, and the younger one with his thunder. They got a stick and sharpened one end and made a hole in the wall of the house. The rain had stopped and the water ran out of the house. Then the Ahayute dug a hole and buried their grandmother, and the Ahayute were alone for about 4 days, or years if you remember from the beginning. After the 4 days, the elder brother said, now we had better go away. We cannot stay here in this house. They went to Corn Mountain. He put his younger brother in Corn Mountain, and the elder brother went to Twin Buttes. They threw away their thunder and lightning, and the Uwanami came to get them back. The Ahayute killed all the monsters. That is all. So there you go. There's 3 creation myths from the Zuni tribe. I hope it was somewhat enjoying, even though I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know how to read anymore. It was fun for me, and that's all that really matters. So I'm gonna go eat dinner now. Hope you enjoyed it. This has been Human Interaction. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton, and I'll see you next time.